Hi.
Oh my God, is this thing on? You guys out there? Hi everyone. So really quickly, quick note, we have our chat open. So as folks are joining us, feel free to use that chat to say hello, to drop us all a line, and to react throughout the event. So we welcome that. Okay, well, let me kind of start to get into the meat of today's event. So first of all, I want to say hi. My name is Nicole Gifford. I am the events manager at Gloss Genius, and we're thrilled to have you join us today. So I want to start by painting a picture. So you might be incredibly talented at your craft. You have loyal clients, a growing reputation, and real skill behind the chair. But there is a ceiling, and that ceiling is you. Because when you only have so many hours in a day, your income maxes out the moment that you and your schedule does. So today is about how you can kind of blow past that ceiling. We're going to talk about building a high performing team, creating a system that earns money even when you step away, and growing income streams that go way beyond the appointment book. And so I'm really excited to introduce the person who has done all of this and then some. So he started at a MAC cosmetics counter in Texas for $19 an hour, took a leap, moved to Dallas, built a loyal client base, opened a salon, launched a cosmetics line, and is now expanding
Keep
into one of
going.
the most coveted neighborhoods. So please welcome makeup artist, educator, studio brand owner, and empire builder, Ryan Sims.
That
Woo!
sounds nice. Ooh,
Oh,
if I can get that intro every time I start makeup, that'd be great. Hi, guys. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Nicole.
of
I
course,
have a
Ryan.
lot to share. I'm very excited to jump in.
Okay, yeah, we're pumped. Ryan is amazing. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with him already. But yeah, this is going to be an amazing event. So before we jump into all of Ryan's amazing insights and his story, I want to do a quick straw poll in the chat. Always love to find out who's here joining us today. So drop your name, where you're located, and what you do. I'm curious who all is with us in the chat. Give it a second, see what everybody has to say. Awesome. Okay, Dallas.
That's my boyfriend.
Yes.
Oh, come on, Vegas.
Vegas,
El
El
Paso.
Massachusetts, Wichita, Kansas.
Ooh.
Okay, San Antonio,
Oh my
Texas is in the
God.
house in a big way, which I mean makes sense. Los
Wow.
Angeles, Rhode
Hey,
Island.
everybody.
So
Oh,
cool.
oh, they're from all over.
I know. We love to see it. Well, no matter where you are, I think that the things we're going to cover today are going to be really inspiring and helpful. So I'm pumped to jump into it. And yeah, feel free to keep introducing yourselves in the chat. Maybe you'll meet a new friend. But with that, let me get us into the first segment, which is all about the journey to making 350K a year, which is a huge accomplishment.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so I want to start at the very beginning because Ryan, your story is one that I think a lot of people are probably going to resonate with a lot. So I know you grew up in McAllen, in Texas. You were working at MAC Cosmetics. What inspired you to take a leap of faith and grow your career beyond MAC? And tell us about like what all changed when you moved to Dallas.
So I just wanted to be a makeup artist. I was so excited to be a makeup artist, and I started working at MAC, and I was just a freelancer, so I was very minimum, the lowest role you could have. That was me, but I was so excited to work and just do makeup. And I'm from a very small town, so in my head it was either you work at a counter or you're working on a huge celebrity, and it's like you're way up here. There was no in between, and that's just what it was. But I was working there for maybe about 4 years. Well, I was there for 2 years and I transferred to Dallas. And I just remember when I moved to DFW, there was so many people doing makeup, but they weren't working at a counter. They were working in suites, they were working in office spaces,
Yeah.
and they were making their own money. And they weren't working for a huge, counter or brand. They were just doing their own thing. And so for me, that was so foreign to me. And I was like, well, wait. There's something bigger here. We can actually get into some more money. And yeah, I left Mac and I started doing my own thing, and I got a suite. And actually at first I was into a salon. I paid like a 150 for a booth rental chair, and then I got into my own suite and started doing makeup.
It's amazing. And I know that leap, while, you obviously had these big dreams and you were seeing other people be successful, it wasn't an easy decision for you. So I'm curious, like, what was holding you back? What fears did you have? Like, what was your kind of concern at that point?
I was terrified. So at my Mac counter in McAllen, I was very popular there. I was very highly requested, and to me that was, oh, that's great, you know.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know what it could have been, you know. So whenever I was just scared to start over with my clientele, I was scared to move to a big city. You know, I had never worked on a deeper skin tone before, and now I feel like that's my biggest clientele. So it's funny how that works, but I was just terrified of leaving what
Yeah.
I was comfortable in. And I moved to Dallas and it just, everything turned around for me, honestly. I started doing makeup and I left Mac eventually and I was just doing my own thing and it just worked out. But I was definitely terrified. I was so scared to leave, but I just had to get out of my comfort zone. I think it can be very scary at first, but you just have to take that leap of faith.
Totally. If you could give any advice to your younger self, or maybe somebody who's at a very similar crossroads right now and like thinking about taking that first step and leap, out of their comfort zone, what would you tell them? What would be your biggest advice?
I would say just do it, honestly. Like, if you're passionate about it and it's really what you love to do, jump into it and just do it, honestly. Because I know a lot of people, even some friends of mine, where they've just been like a little terrified to do their own thing, and you know they'll stay working at a counter, but they really crave something more. I
Yeah,
just think taking that leap of faith and betting on yourself is the best thing to do, honestly.
it's amazing. Yeah, hopefully this is making everybody feel inspired in the audience. So I wonder if there's anybody else that's here with us that has a similar story. So in the chat, I would love to know what's the biggest leap you've taken in your business so far, or maybe the one that you're about to take. Are you thinking about making a big jump of any kind within your business? I'd love to hear from you guys. I see some typers. I'm excited to see what people say.
I know.
Got more introductions. Alabama in the house. Amazing. Got some typers. Quitting my full-time job. Yeah.
And it's so scary, honestly. I was terrified.
Oh my God. Huge. Doing a mobile beauty suite. Wow. Yep. Starting my own business, renting a room. Congrats to everybody who's just going and renting their own space. That's so exciting. Okay. Continuing education and learning from others. That can be a big leap too. Like a lot of these things require some investment. So I hear that. Amazing. I left my corporate job and went to aesthetic school and finally went full time with my makeup business. And now I'm fully booked all year. Wow. Marisol.
Period. I love that. Who said that?
Marisol.
Okay, come on, Marisol.
Next step, building a team. Yes. Go Marisol. That's amazing. Heather leaving a big salon where I was on top. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure, like Ryan, there's a lot of fears of like, what's going to happen with my clients, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I thought I was so, you know, popular at my counter, but I just had no idea what it turned into. You know, I hear from clients all the time. They'll like go to Dubai and they're like, oh yeah, my Dubai makeup artist knows about you. Or, you know, I went to Vegas at a club with my boyfriend and someone was like, oh my God, I follow you on Instagram. At one time, I even had someone cry in the mall because they ran into me and my boyfriend was making fun of me about it. He was like, oh my God, this is going to hit your ego. I was like, it is. But yeah, it's when you take that leap of faith and honestly just put yourself out there, it's so worth it. Honestly, it's very scary, but it's always worth it.
Right. You never know what's waiting out there for you, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see what other folks have said. I retired from the military and committed to opening a business without even being in the state. And 9 years later, I'm still here. I know. I know, Kamisha. That's amazing. I know it's tough, but you're hanging in. That is so cool. Heather, hiring assistant. Wow. Okay. So a lot of people are at a similar crossroads right now, which is
I love that. That makes me so happy.
seems like we're in the right place. So
Yes.
cool. Well, let me move on to our next section here. So we're going to chat now about building that dream team and dream system that kind of makes it all possible. So, fast forward, you've got a thriving client base in Dallas, and everyone is in your ear, Ryan, saying, like, open a salon, build a space of your own, and you waited. So, tell us why, because I think the intention behind that is really, really important.
I think that whenever you are good at what you do, I think a lot of the time, and it's not even just building a salon or getting a salon too, but there's also people that are like, oh, you need to move to LA or you need to open a salon. And that's not everyone's goal. You know, I learned quickly that I did not want to be working on celebrities. That's why in my bio on Instagram, it says, when I say I'm a celebrity makeup artist, I mean, I'm the celebrity. Um,
Best.
but yeah, a lot of people are like, okay, you've been doing this for a while. It's time to open a shop. And it wasn't my time yet. And I I had a lot of friends that had salons, so I knew what all the good things, the bad things, and everything in between. So I was very aware of that, but it
Yeah.
just wasn't my time. So people really told me to get a shop, and I had to wait until I think I waited till, oh, I'm gonna age myself. I'm 36 now, but I was 34 when I opened my shop like 2 years ago.
So cool.
And I just had to do it on my own time. And I just felt like it was the place in my career where I felt like, okay, I've made it. I make really great money
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm very successful, but I want to pass that torch and help other people and also help them not make the same mistakes that I did. You know, my boyfriend just started doing makeup maybe 2 years ago.
Cool.
And when I tell you that he is thriving and he's killing it, and and people come in and they don't even know who I am because he's built his own clientele, and he I gave him the blueprint on what to do,
Yeah.
and it's nice to see him thrive and win, and he didn't have to go through all the stuff that I had to go through, you know.
Right. I love this idea of like pouring back into your people, right? Like whether it's the people you hire, the people around you, like that's so inspiring. Before we chat a little bit about your new space, I see a comment from Debony that I think is a great one. Her question is, what was your approach to gain clientele when you initially moved to Dallas? Maybe some hot tips on that, Ryan, would be helpful.
So if you guys follow me on Instagram or you see my Instagram or anything, even to this day, being very, highly booked and established, I still do free work. You know, a lot of the reels that you guys see on my Instagram are not clients that are my Saturday clients back to back. I come in on my slow days. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're kind of not busy days. I come in and I do reels and I make content and I do, you know, all the stuff that I think people realize, or maybe people think that you don't have to do that anymore when you're fully booked, but I still do a lot of free work. I still put content out there. I think it's super important to put your work out there nonstop, and it has to be something that you really. Some people don't want to do free work, but I think it's important that you promote yourself and put your. Marketing is everything. That is exactly true. So I'll find a very cute girl. You know, a lot of my clients, I'll be like, hey, I need you to come with your hair cute on Monday, and then we're gonna do a free glam, and we're gonna record for about 2 hours, and then I'll put it together, and it works out, you know. But I always tell people, you're gonna have to put in the work. You're gonna have to do some free work sometimes. You're gonna have to get that content out there. It's very important, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's a great one. Well, cool. I wanted to also give a shout out to your new location, which is coming soon.
I'm
So
so proud of my new shop.
it's amazing. Tell us about it. How's it shaped?
So we actually are finishing construction. We will be in our new shop in Design District. We're downtown right now, but we're moving to Design District, and I yeah, it's beautiful. It's definitely giving Kim K vibes, Skims. We have a beautiful lime wash mirrors. It's like double the size what we're currently at. Better parking and just a better area in Dallas. But I'm so proud of it. It's beautiful. I've invested so much money into it,
Yeah.
and it's like my baby right now. I just can't wait to be in there. We got our wash bowls installed on Wednesday, and I'm very excited. But it's beautiful. It's like I said, it's my baby. I'm so proud of it.
Well, congrats in advance. And for people
Thank you.
following Ryan already on Instagram, definitely follow Ryan so you can see the journey because the early.
Oh, I'm making and see, even then I'm making a huge reel for the whole, you know,
Yep.
before we touched it and the process of it. So my mind is always thinking of content, honestly,
Yeah.
through everything.
Yeah, and I think Kamisha had a question on marketing advice in general, and I think we'll chat a little bit more about this throughout. I'm sure because I know marketing is a hot topic, but I think that's a great lesson. Like sometimes I think we forget that these moments are so social media friendly, right? Like moving
Yeah.
something new, like you know. I think sometimes we take for granted these aspects of our life and how people in our audience might be interested in being along for the ride. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, just something to consider too, Kamisha, as you're thinking about strategy and sort of what to kind of post about too. So amazing. Cool. Well, I think on a topic related to your new location, I know a lot of questions we often get on webinars at Gloss Genius are around hiring because hiring is
Hmm.
a hot topic. Hiring is complicated. So Ryan, I wonder when you are hiring to, fill the chairs in this beautiful new space, what are you actually looking for? What matters to you?
I think I have a different approach. I I don't really hire people based off if they're technically a good makeup artist or a really good hairstylist. I'm more focused on, do you have the drive? You know, like the drive and the fire that I had when I first started. I was showing up on, I was working hard, and I still work hard.
Yeah.
I show up on Sundays. A lot of makeup artists take Sundays off, not me. I'm also working at 4. I sometimes take 4 a.m. clients. My schedule is from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Wow.
And I want someone that has that drive and the passion for it. I'd rather you be passionate about it, and we can work on your craft. We can get you better. I can develop you into a great makeup artist. But if you have the passion and the drive for it, that's what I look for, honestly. You know? I think that a lot of people can look at the lifestyle that a hairstylist has or a makeup artist, and they could be like, "Ooh, I want to do that." But it's not really because they're passionate about it. I think it's they just want the lifestyle and the check. And if you're chasing that just for a check, it's not going to work out. You know, you have to have that passion, because that's what's going to keep you going when it's hard. Yes, no days off, girl. I don't take any days off. I work 7 days a week. But yeah, I think it's super important.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's that idea of sort of passion over perfection. Like,
And social media has really gotten us thinking that we can just, oh, that hairstylist is like really, they're living their life. They have a G Wagon, all that. I want to do that. But if you're just following it for that, it's not going to work.
no, you're not going to have that perseverance when
Yes,
you're.
exactly.
I feel that. So I think one of the challenges too, though, of course, is like training and making sure that people show up exactly the way that you would ideally have them. And especially when you're in a luxury brand, you have a luxury space, you want the client experience to be consistent. So how do you make sure that, your staff, everybody there is on the same page and delivering that same like high bar of client experience?
So I always tell my girls in my shop, I say, whenever a client comes in, I don't want to hear you say, "How do you want your makeup today?"
Yeah.
I that is no, we're not doing that. I always tell them, don't make it so transactional. It should
Yeah.
feel, I mean, these people are choosing you over all these other makeup artists in Dallas. So be a part of their day. You know, like when someone comes in, say, "Hey, what are we doing today? Where are you going? Like, what's going on? What do you have? What's the occasion?"
Right.
And be interested in that. You should be interested in that. If they're choosing you, I think it's super important to make sure that that client has a good experience and it doesn't feel so transactional. I
Yeah.
think that even if you're technically not the best makeup artist or hairstylist or whatever,
Yeah.
if you give that client a good feeling and they leave that chair and they feel like they made a new friend or they had a great experience. So many of my clients will just come and be like, "Ugh," or they'll DM me and be like, "I'm gonna book an appointment just because I need to go see you." Like
Yeah.
your energy is everything, and I think that it's super important. I vibe with my clients so well,
Yeah.
that
Right.
I've developed so many friendships, and I think it's super important to really show interest and to not just have it just, what do you want? How do you want your makeup? Okay. As soon as I see that, I'm like, no.
Yep.
And then another thing too, honestly, is as I'm speaking about doing makeup at 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. and taking 4 a.m. clients, another thing too is that if you're not going to give your client the same energy at 4 a.m. that you're going to give them at 12 p.m.,
Yes.
don't take a 4 a.m. then.
Right. Right.
Every client deserves the same experience and a good experience. If you're taking a 4 a.m. client, you're tired and you're dry, just don't do it.
Yep. Yep. I feel that. That makes a lot of sense. And I think like, there's something so special and important about getting to the heart of like the why. Why is somebody choosing to be with you? What is going on in their life? And, that's really, I think, just fundamental to the perfect kind of client relationship. Not to mention, I think if people feel really seen and heard, they'll keep coming back forever. It's that.
Yeah, and just to be a part of their day. Do you know how cool it is? I always say it's more than makeup. Like I get to be a part of these people's huge day. I probably did like 3 pregnant women last 2 days, okay? Doing maternity shoots or baby showers or whatever. And or they're spending their birthday with you. They're getting their birthday glam with you, or or they're graduating. Like that's so exciting to be a part of that. And then the next time you come in, you're talking to them and you're like, "Hey, you're
Yep.
not pregnant no more. How'd it go? How's the baby?" And it's just cool. And then maybe next glam they come in, they're like, "Girl, I'm going out on the town. I
Yes.
dropped the baby and I'm going out with the girls." So it's just cool to develop that relationship with a client, you know, and it makes them choose you. Even if someone might be better than you, they will always choose you, and that'll be for your forever client. If
Yep.
you give them a good experience, they will always remember how you made them feel. Always.
100%. And I saw Debony left a great comment around how, sometimes with their really devoted clients, they ask how they found out about her. And then it's like, oh, a client that you had before. So these great relationships beget new great relationships.
Exactly. And that feels good too when someone refers you and you're like, oh, I love Jessica. She told you to come here. Great. You know, like that's a great feeling.
Yeah, definitely. Amazing. And there's a couple, I always recommend, there's certain slides that we'll have throughout that are definitely screenshot or picture worthy. So if you want some hot tips on how to grow and kind of perfect your dream team, definitely take a quick screenshot here. But just to recap, hiring for passion, super important. Making sure those core brand values and expectations are super clear. So, again, to Ryan's point, like asking the right questions rather than just the super simple question of what are we doing today?
Right.
And then lastly, I think another thing, and we at Gloss Genius are really proud of this, but systems that help you grow a consistent client and staff experience, just something that's going to work for everybody and be super simple, not to mention that booking, rebooking piece, which we'll get into more later, but screenshot this will help. Cool. All right, guys. Well, let me move on to our next section. Actually, before I do, sorry, I wanted to ask this question of all of you guys. So, I always love to see if there's moments where we can inspire each other with some great ideas. So, is there anything that comes to mind for anyone in the chat? What do you do to create a truly special client experience? We heard some of Ryan's tips. What are yours?
Flavio has a good one. Flavio, I know you're in the chat.
Yes. Marisol, okay, I have a question. Yeah, we can talk more about that later. Tiffany, we have some questions about pay structure. Maybe you guys are waiting on this. Ryan, how do you operate in your salon? Are you guys commission or?
So I am booth rental,
Okay.
but I really care about my girls in my shop, and I treat them as if they're commission because I put a lot of training into them and love, and I help them with content. A lot of people even if they're like good at makeup, some people are not really good at knowing how to make good content videos. So I invest a lot into my booth renters, honestly. But they're not commissioned, they're booth renters. But I still invest a lot. I treat them like they're commissioned, but they're just booth renters.
Love that idea of like marketing as an area of continuing education in the.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
I always say you can do great makeup and still take an ugly photo of it. Or just, especially with Flavio too. Flavio is my boyfriend. We've been together for 13 years, but one thing I always showed him was I really showed him the blueprint on what I do with my videos for content. And it's about a zoomed in. People want to see the makeup. If you're doing a video way far away, they're not really seeing it, but they're more engaged if they see it up close. So there's a lot that goes into content that will actually really help you get bookings for sure.
Yeah, totally. I'm seeing some great ones in the chat. Gifts with purchase and VIP experience, warm blankets, cool beverages is really awesome. I saw one around always doing a consultation. That was from Trish, never expecting that people want the exact same thing every time. That is, to me, super important. And then I saw one too about this, Kamisha. This is one of my favorite tips that I've seen in a couple of our webinars. I love this. If you guys aren't already thinking about this, I think in some like spa environments, you expect spa music, but spicing it up a little bit with a curated playlist is so cool. And that would be a really great way to differentiate yourself. So I love that idea. Amazing. Mini facial.
Someone said wine, period.
Fine, period. Addressing them by their name. Yes, Heather's so important. Making sure they think.
That is a good one, Heather. I like that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, guys, we'll keep them coming. These are great ideas. Amazing. Well, let me move to our next slide here. Oops, here we go. So I wanted to ask, and actually, let me back up for 1 second. So Ryan, I mean, obviously you are super busy. You're running a multi-artist salon, which also means that you can't rely on just determination alone to get through the day. You really do need systems to hold everything together. And so I know you were with Style Seat for years before you switched to Gloss Genius. What finally made you make that switch?
So I was with Style Seat for a very long time. And Style Seat was a little complicated with some things like deposits. Deposits are super important for my business to where, especially, if you have a 4 a.m. and they're not showing up, And, the card is locked,
Oh,
babe. So I was with Style Seat for a long time, but they didn't have a good way to accept deposits at the time. So it was very complicated, but I would have them book on Style Seat, and Style Seat makes you put a card on file. And then because they wouldn't take deposits, I would have them Zelle me $50 for their deposit, and then the remainder would be via Zelle or their card. But it got very complicated,
yeah,
and then you're chasing people down. You're like, hey, you didn't send your Zelle, you didn't do that, and it gets difficult. But I was kind of over that, and I had a client that was like, why am I putting my card on file and then sending you a Zelle? And I was like, yeah. And I thought about it. I was like, if she's saying this to me,
yeah,
how many people are not booking because it's complicated?
right.
So um, oh, actually, yes, they do add some fees too on there. But yeah, I needed a system that was a lot easier. And my best friend Terica, she works with you guys, and she was doing ads with you guys, and I was like, let me check out Gloss. And I love that the deposit feature was on there.
Yep,
I loved that I could put the processing fee onto the client, so I still made all my money
yep,
and nothing was taken out. When I heard that, I was like, ah, I'm sold. Great, let's do it. But it's just been a lot easier. And I think that and I always tell people too, like whenever someone's starting out too, I think that it's important that you always have a booking system. It's
yeah,
super important. One of the things that I tell the girls at my shop too is you need to have something like Gloss where you're getting your clients to book on there, because I'm going to be honest with you, people do not want to DM you for an
yeah,
appointment. They don't want to DM you. A lot of people like to do things themselves. Some
yeah,
people don't want to be in your DMs talking. They're antisocial. They don't want to do all that. So if you have a system where they can book an appointment at 3 in the morning,
yeah,
and the deposit is done and it's all taken care of. I mean, I get so many appointments booked in the middle of the night,
yeah, right.
But whenever people say, "Hey, DM me to book," like on their Instagram, I'm like, you're gonna miss out on revenue because people
Right.
don't want to do that. They
Yeah,
need a system that's very easy, and the easier it is, the more clients you're gonna get. Ever since I joined Gloss, I feel like I've made so much more money, and I've had more clients booked because of that.
that's amazing. And yeah, it's such a excellent point. And a way, I mean, I would say a way to think about it is like we live in a world where so much is available to you instantly on demand, right?
Yes,
You can go on Netflix and watch every show and movie. You can, order Uber Eats at any time of the day and night in most areas. So, you think about how, well, wouldn't you want your business to be making money for you 24/7? And
exactly. And a time where people are booking at 3 in the morning, if you have something on your Instagram that says DM to book, but then you're asleep, uh,
yeah,
girl, they might be hitting someone else up because they have Gloss Genius and they can book instantly right there and they're guaranteed an appointment.
yeah,
So you have to think about things like that, honestly.
yeah, totally. So true. No, and by the way, we love Terica. Terica's awesome.
Oh my God, she's amazing. I love her.
Shout out to Terica. I wonder if anyone here was at Terica's webinar last year. But okay, so from there, I want to chat a little bit about some of the other features. I know we talked a lot about deposits.
I'm
Um,
actually very excited about this.
yay, okay, good. But I'm curious, what were the game changers? Like, what were some of the other things that really, blew the business wide open for you?
So packages have been crazy. So I'm not really a wedding makeup artist. I do weddings occasionally, but I'm really just working in my shop and I'm having people back to back to back. I don't really like to travel, so it's a lot easier having people come to me. But it's been nice to have people. I have so many clients that get makeup done weekly, or to be honest with you, I have clients that get makeup every day, a couple times a week. And having something like packages
Yeah,
changed the game where it was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give you a package. You buy 4 makeup sessions up front,
yep,
and you get $25 discounted on every service. So say my soft glam is 125,
yep,
they're paying me 400 up front with the package, and it only equals out to $100 per glam. And they have 3 months to use that, and you can adjust that time frame as you want to.
yep,
But that was huge, and it feels like a reward to being loyal to me. So a lot of my girls that get makeup done often, that own boutiques, and they have to show their clothes because they just got inventory. And I have a client that is taking photos weekly with her boutique clothes. So that something like that works out for them, and they feel it's like a reward, like I said. So that's been great. Whenever I first joined Gloss 2, I was always posting my goals on like hitting my goals. The
Yes.
little template I would post on my story, be like, hit it again, you know? So I think it's cool to have something where it's keeping you accountable and you have a goal for something and then you're hitting it. And then sometimes if I see that I'm not hitting it, I'm like, okay, let me post a cute little reel
Yep.
and we're gonna fill that spot and it's gonna be good. And it works every time.
So cool.
So goal setting, the packages were great. And revenue protection, the deposits,
Yes.
love that. But I already stated that too. And I love that you can put the processing, like you don't have to pay for the processing fee. Cause I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, I want all my coin. Okay. So
And
to be able to not have any percentages come out or anything. And clients never complain about that. I've never had one complaint about the processing fee at all.
that's
So
great.
it's been great.
Awesome. So cool. And I think like another point on deposits and like I'll just share, I think something that people don't think about is protecting your time, right? So you want people to have some,
Absolutely.
like you don't want them to be canceling on you. Now you have a huge hole in your schedule. You don't know what to do about it. I think the other thing that's nice with the deposits is it comes alongside all of our other revenue protection stacks. So like no shows and cancellations, you can have a very clearly articulated policy that people have to agree to,
Yep.
and you can charge them. You have a card on file. If you have a policy of, 50% charge if you cancel within X hour, like this is something you can action and really helps people keep more of their money, and also keep more of their time and make more of their time productive. So just something to consider.
And I think it's important too. Like, my clients feel good about a deposit. If I'm being honest with you, my clients feel like even their appointment is secure
Yes.
when they put some money down. You know what I mean? Like they're like, okay, we're good. Like it's almost like a little contract between us two, and they feel more secure about their appointment as well. So it works for both parties, really.
Yeah, it's legitimizing. It
Yeah.
makes business feel real, makes the appointment feel real for sure. Awesome. I see a couple of questions about processing fees. So I'll just mention Gloss Genius is a flat 2.6% processing on credit cards. And then, Ryan was sharing that you are able to push that onto the client or you can take it on for yourself. So that's something that, you guys can feel free to investigate, but definitely wanted to share that is our situation here at Gloss. Cool. Well, let me move on here. So I, I think one of the things that's really special about Gloss Jeans just in general, and I know we kind of covered this a little bit, but everything that we do here is really intended to save you time or make you money, but usually both. So take it from Ryan. It's definitely worth exploring. We'll get more into how you guys can check it out later, but just wanted to share that. All right, cool. So now we're going to transition to talking about building income beyond the appointment book. So let's talk about what makes an empire and not just a salon. Ryan, as we already mentioned, you've got a cosmetics line, master classes, brand partnerships. You've 70,000 plus people following you on Instagram. So when did you start kind of like thinking beyond the appointment book and trying to grow those extra revenue streams?
Well, girl, I'm a diva. I like multiple sources of income. Okay, the appointment's not gonna cut it. I make cute money with the appointments, but I think it's always important to have multiple sources of income. So I do have a cosmetic line. I do master classes all the time, and yes, I do brand partnerships. That still is crazy. um, but yeah, I came out with a makeup line because I mean, when people get makeup done, the first thing that they're telling me is, what lip is this? What is this so I can go buy it so I can touch it up? Because one of the things that comes off first with your makeup is your lip, you
Yes,
know?
of course.
So whenever my whole makeup line currently right now is lip products. But for me that worked out because it was just smart. It was, what are people touching up most of the time? What are they gonna buy? What are they gonna restock? The girls live for my glosses, okay? We have lip liners, we have glosses, we have lip balms, we have lip oils, we have matte liquid lipsticks. So it was super important to me to be smart about it because whenever I buy eyeshadow palettes, if we're being honest, how many times do you buy a palette? You know, I buy a palette, I don't really restock in it. I have it, and then when I run out of a shade that I like, I'm usually on to the next palette.
Yeah.
For me, it was just great because it was just smart to have something that people would want to buy, and they buy it over and over and over. So I mean, even earlier today, I had a girl that bought 3 glosses and 3 matte liquid lipsticks, and she just fell in love with it. And it was just smart to have something added on to my services.
Yeah.
And then as far as master classes go, I do master classes and I also do one-on-one lessons. So in the case that like, you know, my slower days, no one's really getting makeup done on a Monday or Tuesday. Well, today is Monday and I did have 3 clients, but for the most part, it's not crazy like my Saturday. My Saturday is sometimes booked from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. back to back with no break. So we're talking, I can take 15 to 19 clients on a Saturday. But
Wow.
on the days where it's a little bit slower, I think it's smart to think about how you can fill those spots. So master classes are great because it's a big chunk of money in one day, you know, and then you promote it for maybe about 2 months, and you have all these people wanting to learn from you, and it's a great way to make money. And then one-on-ones, I do those during the week on my slower days. So if I'm not really booked Monday through Wednesday, I only allow one-on-one scheduled for Monday through Wednesday. So it fills those gaps in, I can make extra revenue.
Right. No, it's so smart. And I think, you know, I wonder if you have any advice, if there's anybody in the audience like thinking about what's my second line of income, what would be your best advice? Like where would you recommend they start thinking about first?
I would think about what are you good at? Like for me,
Yeah.
I've always loved teaching. When I worked at Mac, I you know how guys, straight guys be excited about talking about football and cars and everything. That's me with makeup. I get very nerdy. I'm like, oh, you want to learn? I got you. You know.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just something that I was passionate about. It's something that I was good at, and I just loved it. So I was like, you know what? If I already like this and I can make this work and we can get more revenue, it's
Yeah.
perfect. So I say find something that you're good at. You know,
Yep.
if you like teaching, definitely go into that. Digital products, courses, workbooks. That's great, Bobby. Yeah. Oh, Destiny, thank you for the gloss comment. And then, of course, you know, with me, I got, my lip glosses. I just found a vendor and I went through a couple of vendors and I wasn't really happy with some of them. And I just had to find what I was, you know, good with putting my name on. And I think it was super important that it had to be something I was proud of.
Right.
Um, I think I had gotten some samples that were like $5,000,
Wow.
and I was like, oh yes, I'm excited, and I did not like them, so I ended up cutting that. And I think whenever you come out with a gloss or you come out with a product or anything, I always tell people whatever you first come out with is what people remember you for.
Right.
So if you're coming out with something that's not good quality, people will always remember that. And
Yeah.
so for me, I was very picky about my products. So even though it was through a vendor, we worked together to, you know, make something more hydrating or make this more long wearing, or,
Right.
you know, whenever you buy a certain amount, you can kind of, you know, customize it a little bit more. But it was super important that my products were of quality for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like such a good example of how you can just be so discerning because that first impression is so critical. You never
It's
get
so important.
right. And so, you know, I think word of advice to everyone in the audience, of course, it's important to, you know, try and learn and you're going to fail and things are not going to work out perfectly every time. But, you know, certainly always good to make sure something's meeting your bar, your personal standard before you
Yep.
put it out in the world. I think that's big. Um, okay, cool, guys. Well, let me move on here. So I wanted to ask a question for you guys. Maybe we can inspire each other because I love this idea from Ryan around, you know, find what you're passionate about. Teaching is such a great way to start to think about, you know, how you can grow extra revenue streams. What's a skill or area of knowledge that you feel qualified to teach? I wonder if people in the audience have a feeling on this and maybe we can inspire each other. Let's,
Okay, Heather, color theory. I
yeah,
love that.
so cool. That's a great one. Skincare outside of makeup. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big one. And I think when you think about teaching, it's like you could do virtual master classes, you can do in-person master classes. I mean, there's this idea of like educating people on social too, you know, start by seeing if your audience resonates with, you know, some tips and tricks around the things you're passionate about, and then maybe you can scale it from there.
Yeah, my boyfriend even does. He offers like FaceTime uh
That's cool.
lessons too.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's cute. You know, if someone's not in your area, that's a great way to make money as well.
Yeah. 100%. Oh my God, really cool stuff in here. Brow waxing, age management, nail care after appointments. Love that. Self manual lymphatic drainage. Rachel, I want to know about that. That's very interesting. Really cool. Awesome, guys.
Yes, heaven.
Yeah,
Yes, I love that.
label cosmetics. Amazing. Very cool. Cool,
And
guys.
honestly, you guys, it's just if they're already gonna buy a lip product or a brow product, girl, don't spend it with them, spend it with me. So it really does work out, Heaven. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Renisha, that's fair. Listen, not everybody is passionate about teaching, so we're not saying that's what you have to do, but I do think it's an interesting area, and you might be better than what you sort of initially
And
think, I
Renisha, that
think.
is I do agree with you. Honestly, Renisha,
Yeah.
whenever I first started teaching classes, oh my God, someone asked me, I had a client and they were like, hey, do you do one-on-ones? I was like, I get, sure, you want to, we can, yeah. I didn't know what to charge. I was nervous. I was, at the time I only charged like $100 for a one-on-one lesson. It was like 3 hours. But, more time that comes with it, I will say just jump into it too if you do want to teach. And at first you are going to feel nervous and it's going to feel a little awkward and stuff. But when you're passionate about something, I feel like it just comes with time too, that you'll just get better at it as well. My master classes now, I used to be nervous about one person one on one and I would freak out with that. But now I'm doing master classes with like 20 people and I'm like talking like nothing. And it's so easy to me. It's like I could do it in my sleep, really.
Yeah. Think about like what are the things like what Ryan was saying, you just like talking about this, right? Like hopefully eventually, hard to speak in front of an audience, but eventually it could be more natural if it's something you're already
Yeah,
like stoked.
exactly. That's where the passion really plays in
Yeah,
it too. Because if you love it, it's exciting to talk about.
totally. Cool. Well, we're gonna pivot here a little bit, but guys, feel free to keep dropping ideas in the chat. So Ryan, like obviously, as we've discussed, you're genuinely one of the most busy people I know. You've got a new location under construction. You've got these partnerships and content deadlines and classes and clients. So how do you actually protect your time and stay present with people that matter to you?
So honestly, I feel like how we were talking about gloss, and I feel like how it's having your all these things going on with gloss, like appointment reminders, scheduling. I always schedule the reminder, let them know to rebook. I'm always thinking of ways that I can, even the deposit thing too.
Yeah.
With Zelle, with Style Seed, I was chasing people down for deposits too. So that was a lot of time that I was spending trying to figure out who was sending deposits and stuff like that. So that really helps. And then, confirmations as well, all that. I feel like all the systems just work together to make it a lot easier. And then I also go about my schedule too, like I was speaking about before with the days that are a little slower, I'm gonna fill that with like makeup classes and stuff like that. But I definitely make sure that I go about my schedule to where I can also have date nights with my boyfriend and put that into my schedule as well. But all the systems that Gloss offers really makes it a lot easier for me to have more time for myself and my boyfriend and my mom as well. I'm a mama's boy.
Love that. I think something that I hear from our community is it's so nice to be able to have your calendar all in one place. It's kind of a simple thing, but with Gloss, you can kind of have your calendar, your booking, everything in one place. You can add your personal stuff to that. You can block
Oh,
out.
I do all the time. I'll
Yeah,
block off times. I'm like, okay, date night here. I have to get out at 6 o'clock here, or I have a haircut at this time. So it's so much easier to have that calendar and be able to block off personal time, have
yeah,
your appointments. It just makes everything a lot easier.
for sure. And then I know you mentioned this already, but I think the biggest time unlock hack I've heard is like, basically anything that you can automate at this point in time, it's
Oh, I do it all.
you have
Yep.
to, right? Because
Yep.
you're supposed to do it all and live your dream out and do everything that you aspire to if you're chasing clients down for deposits, sending manual appointment confirmations, calling people to confirm appointments, which like, whoa, that's crazy. Like,
Whenever I first joined Gloss, that was one thing that I loved. I think I
yeah,
made like a fake appointment, to see how what it would send a client, all that. And I remember it was like I was really impressed with all the things that it would send that client to remind them about the appointment or to rebook or stuff like that. I was really impressed with that because Stylesy didn't offer that, and I didn't hear a lot about a lot of other booking apps that did that.
yeah,
So that was a big game changer for me too. And people don't realize that, but those little small things do give you a lot more time for yourself. You don't have to worry about it. You don't. It's like someone said in the chat. Oh, Flavio.
yes,
Gloss Genius is like having an assistant 24/7. It really is. It does most of the work for you. It's
yes,
so easy.
totally. No, that's amazing. And I think with that, I want to kind of move us towards our Q&A because I know there's a ton of questions we
I
have.
know. I'm seeing them all right here.
So exciting. But before we do, and guys, by the way, feel free to start dropping more and more questions because we'll go back and cover them. But before we do that, I just want to say this has been so fun. And I think, I really wanted to ask you, Ryan, just as like a closing thought, if you could leave this audience with one thing, maybe like the single most important move that took your business from doing okay to truly building an empire, like what is it? What should they take away? What should they do first?
Take the leap of faith, really put the work in. Thank you, Patricia. I think that you just really have to believe in yourself. I know it sounds corny, but I just think it's a huge, when you really take that leap of faith and you really believe in yourself and show up, like Flavio said, I think that's super important too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just
It
put,
can be scary, especially being an entrepreneur
yes.
and not having, days look a little different from other days and it can be scary. But I think if you just really believe in yourself, and I know it sounds so corny, but if you believe in yourself and really just take that leap of faith, it really can change everything. I went from thinking I was at this mat counter and, oh, this is the best it's going to get. And there was so much more that was destined for me, but I had to take that leap of faith to figure that out. So you can discover a lot, and the picture can be way bigger than what you imagine it to be.
That's beautiful. That's so, hope everybody is like writing that down. So exciting. So again, before we jump into the Q&A, one quick plug I wanted to share with you guys. So we dropped a link in the chat. You can also scan this QR code. If you want to learn more about Gloss Genius, this is a way to set up dedicated time with our team. We will walk you through what Gloss Genius can look like for your business. Highly recommend doing it. Our team is really excellent. They're there to answer any question you might have. And I would say, there's tons of availability on this calendar. Grab a time that works for you and spend a little time with us and kind of find out if Gloss Genius can be a good fit for your business. As I mentioned, our whole entire idea here at Gloss Genius is about growing more with less of the busy work, automating the manual, giving you time to do what you're passionate about, right? So definitely, again, highly recommend checking it out if you haven't already. And yeah, with that, I am going to jump into our Q&A. So
Yay!
yay!
I'm actually excited about this.
I know, I'm pumped. Let's see. I am gonna dive in, and guys, don't be offended. I'm jumping around to different questions. We got a lot of different things on here. Um, I saw this question much earlier, so I want to address it. This is from Grace. So Grace is feeling a little bit like she's hit a ceiling in her city of Reno, Nevada. I'm actually in Nevada right now, by the way, which is funny. She's a single mom. She's doing it all on her own. She's a provider in her family. And sometimes it's like not realistic to just get up and go to another city. What would be your best advice for Grace in a situation like this? How does she kind of,
Like she wants to stay in her city, but she wants to know how to maximize where she's at.
yep, exactly.
I would definitely, one thing I think someone also asked about, like, thank you, about how to, really know how to price things and everything too. I think that you should really look at where you're at, and see what they're like. If you're a makeup artist, what's their go-to glam? How do they like makeup in where you're located?
Right.
One thing I always tell the girls too is it's super important. Like in my shop, I always tell the girls, like if they're struggling to get bookings, I always say, I want you to look in the shop and I want you to see what is getting booked in Dallas, right? Like what are the girls loving in Dallas a lot, and focus on that. I think that's super important to see who's really booked, what are they doing, and then kind of take note of that as well too. I think that's super important.
Yeah. And Flavia just bumped a question around the prices to charge when you're new in an industry. How do you think about pricing strategy?
Same thing, honestly. What I like to do too is look at where you're at. Dallas, people really pay good money for makeup, but I have friends that are in Oklahoma, and they're not really paying for a lot in Oklahoma. So she'll be like, I can't charge what you charge. But I think it's super important to be aware of, you know, what the makeup artist or hairstylist around your area, what they're charging and what that looks like, just so you're not too low and you're not too high either. I
Yeah,
think I always tell people too, being too low is actually a red flag for some people.
it
Like
is.
if I have makeup artists that are new and they're like, oh, I'm a little nervous, I'm going to start at 35. I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
At 35, people won't even look at your work. If you say 35, they're like, no, I'm not. Like
Yeah.
it's a red flag.
Yeah. No, that's real. I think I was at an event this week and this phrase was said, which was first class is always full, right? There's this
Uh-huh.
idea that luxury is always desirable no matter where you are.
Yep.
So, don't undersell yourself. Think about,
Never do that. Yeah.
right, the quality of your service is what really matters. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Um, okay, so I saw a question. Flavio, also another great question from Flavio. I actually think this is a very interesting one. Yes, so as a salon owner, how do you help your hairstylist if you are kind of focused on the makeup side?
So what we do is I have a service on Gloss on my service menu that is it's hair plus dry styling. So I have a lot of the times I have hairstylists that work in there, and most of their jobs come from the makeup artist, honestly, because we combine the job together.
Oh,
Flavio actually works in my shop. That's my boyfriend again, but he has what he calls celebrity treatment. So you get makeup and hair done at the same time. So it's a
cool.
job for Flav, but then it's also a job for a hairstylist that is available to do curls. And maybe she didn't have a job that day, or a slot was open, and it just worked out because now she has an extra job with Flavio, and it works out.
Yeah, and I feel like these kinds of sort of full service, mixed service salons and spas are becoming more and more common. So love this idea of like passing clients back and
Oh,
forth.
we do it all the time. It helps so much. Like the hairstylists in our shop love it because we have, makeup artists. Like if they have a spot open and we're like, hey, Jessica actually needs curls, and they're like, oh, perfect, it works out. But honestly, whenever they book the service too, they're guaranteed a hairstylist to work on them.
It's awesome. Debony had a question around like the look of social media pages. I kind of want to expand this question. Like, do you have any social media best practices, like the things that you should absolutely do to make sure that your posts are kind of maximally appealing? Like, what are the things that you do to really like boost your reach and make them?
Girl,
Yeah.
are we talking about like, on social media or the actual recording of the video?
I mean, both, I think, honestly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So when it comes to makeup, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like I said earlier,
Yeah.
y'all need to be in frame. Okay, the makeup, the face. If it is a makeup page, I'm speaking for the makeup artist here. If it's a makeup page, I want it zoomed in. If you go to my page, you will see all my girls are zoomed in because people are more. They want to watch because they're like, oh, what is he about to do? And they can see. They're seeing every little detail, and I have people that are like, "Oh, I watch your videos all the time, and I learn so much from it." But I think if you're too zoomed out, I know it sounds crazy, but little things like that make a big difference. So all my videos are super zoomed in on the face.
Yep.
I always tell the girls, "Hey, we don't have a camera right in your face, girl." And then I just do I do little clips of each step, and I put it into one video. Put a good song on there that's gonna make you want to watch the whole thing. And another thing too, honestly, people don't realize this, but if you tag your city, that is super important. I can't stress that enough.
Big
When
one.
I am on TikTok or I'm on Instagram, but especially TikTok, what I love to do is make sure that you are tagging your city whenever you're posting your reels for your work, because it'll automatically go to people in your area and they will see when they can find you and book you.
Yep. Yep. No, I love that one. That's like such a big tip that comes up. And I think if you're not doing that already, that is like one actionable takeaway you can do starting tomorrow or even tonight. Definitely
Yep.
recommend doing that. And this is an interesting one. I feel like this comes up from time to time. This is from Jennifer. Do you
I
feel
love that you're asking this. I saw
Yes,
that question. I like that.
such a good one? Do you feel like posting yourself / your personal life helps you bring in more clientele?
So I think that everyone has, what they want to share with the social media and the world, and some people are private. I'm not. I post a lot, and for me, it's worked with my brand. I post silly videos with my boyfriend all the time. And we will post a lot of our personality, and it really works. Honestly, like I said, I have people that will DM me on Instagram. They're like, "Oh my God, you're hilarious." I be trolling all day on Instagram, and when I tell you that people love it, and they'll be like, "You just made me laugh. I need to come see you because I've been feeling down. I'm just gonna book an appointment." They don't even need to go anywhere. They'll just book an appointment. So I think it's definitely important to. I like to show my personality. Some people don't, but for me, it definitely helps my brand. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely helps me, and people get very in. They love our relationship, so people are very into me and Flavio and what we post too. Our we have a naked cat that just had like 5 kittens, and Flavio's been posting that. So yeah, we share a lot, honestly, but it really does help us. And honestly, another thing too that I always tell people is bring your followers along with the ride for you, right? Like if you're coming out with a new product and say you're working on the packaging, what really helps and will have people really excited to be supporting you is when you are taking them along the journey. Like if you're coming up with some packaging for a lip gloss and you're like, should I do this pink or this pink? And you have your followers help you decide when that product comes out, do you know how much more they're willing to buy and support you because they felt like they were a part of that journey?
Yes.
So it's super important, or even if it's not that, but maybe you're a new makeup artist. I think it's super important to maybe share your journey with people and say, hey, my name is so and so, and I'm starting my makeup journey. I'm super excited. I am going to build up my clientele this year, and this is my goal. Things like that get people excited to follow your journey, and they want to support you. So I think you can really win whenever you are showing things like that. I think it's really cool, honestly. Like even the salon that I'm, almost finished with now, I keep posting behind the scenes of it being finished, and people are so excited. And that anticipation, even for something like that, people can't wait to be in that shop. So I think when you take people along the journey and you share some personal things with them, I think that it can definitely help, honestly.
Absolutely. And I think, there's this idea of like, yeah, people care about you. And I think even if you don't have a lot of followers, I mean, I don't know, personally, it's like your friends, your family, they build you up,
Yeah.
excited for you. You never know, they're going to repost it or something, and maybe you don't know who sees it. I think it's just important to start, right? Just start doing it. Don't feel like embarrassed. Don't feel like you can't do it. Just be you and see where it takes you. I think
Yeah.
it's a good idea. I saw someone ask a question. I know we covered a little bit around client retention earlier and some of the things that you do to create like a really differentiated client experience. But in general, are there any other client retention tips that come to mind for you, Ryan? Like things that you do to make sure people stay booking and rebooking with you?
Honestly, sometimes I even just like hit up a client and be like, hey, where you been? I haven't seen you in a minute, you
Yeah.
know? And I think that things like that are cool too whenever you're like, they're like, oh, he notices I haven't been there in a minute, you know?
Nice.
So I do little things like that where I'm like DMing some of my clients that I'm cool with and we have that type of relationship and I'll be like, hey, where you been? You haven't been booking. They're
Yeah.
like, let me get on the books right now. Little things like that. It makes them also feel like, okay, he notices that I'm not there, and it makes them feel special as well.
Yeah, it's that like friendship piece of the
Yeah.
play. I'll share another tip too, and I know this was Angelina's question. Like with Gloss Genius, you can actually segment your client list by people who haven't seen you in a while, and you can send them targeted text and email messages, letting them
Yeah, I
know,
didn't even know that. That's actually really
check it
cool. I'm
out.
gonna try that out.
Do it. And you can send whatever you want, a funny message. It doesn't have to be dead serious. It could be a promotion. It could be, letting them know that, a sort of a welcome back discount or something like that. Totally up to you. But I think it's a tool that's in your toolbox if you use Gloss Genius to kind of keep your clients engaged. So just something to think about there. Cool. Of course. Let's see. Oh my gosh, you guys, so many good questions. I know we're almost at time here. Um, I really appreciate everybody being a part of this. I see some questions about, and maybe this is the last one we'll cover. This is from Sierra a couple of minutes ago. She just shared that she recently moved back to her hometown of Indianapolis, and she's left her clientele behind. She's kind of going through this pivot. She wants to still be profitable, sort of rebuild her portfolio, get that clientele going. I know we covered a couple of tips around this, but anything else come to mind, Ryan? Any first moves that Sierra should do like right now?
Honestly, like I said before, I think it's big to I mean, sometimes I get a little comfortable because I'm like,
Yeah.
already established and everything, but I don't think that people realize how far posting content goes. I think that if the best way, if you're moving to a new city and no one knows who you are and you're, building up your clientele again, I think it's super important to post your content on social media. And also don't be scared to do that free work, like I was saying. Like a lot of makeup sessions that I do in that are all on my page, if I'm being honest with you, all the ones that are on my page are usually not from a client that I had on a busy day. I don't really have time to record. So I think it's super important to set that time aside to do content and to use hashtags, tag your city. I think that's super important, and make sure that you're giving the best. You're documenting and showcasing your work the best way possible. Good lighting,
Yes.
whether it's hair, makeup, whatever. You want to make sure. I always tell people you can do great makeup and take ugly photos of it. Like lighting is everything. You gotta
Yes.
showcase your work the right way that is appealing to people and they want to book you.
Yes. Some investment and thoughtfulness around that. I think, can go a really long way. Well, thank you so much, Ryan. I'm going to just really quickly, I'm going to pivot back to our last slide. Again, just as a reminder, guys, we're here for you. If you're interested in learning more, I see a couple people in the chat who are thinking about making the switch. Definitely spend some time with our team. We can help walk you through everything we chatted about today and, other stuff that might be on your mind too. But I wanted to say thank you again to Ryan. This was so much fun.
Thank you guys. This is so fun. I really appreciate it. I love that we could, exchange tips and talk and everything. I really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun.
So fun. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day, and we will see you in the next one. Bye,
Bye,
y'all.
y'all.